Hello, my name is Briscoe-Renaud. I am a holistic counselor and I am passionate about helping you build a balanced life to reach well-being and happiness. So as you know, for me, I believe that it's very, very important that we have an environment that is nurturing, uplifting, and when we talk about environment, we talk about people, relationships, of course. And of course, some of our relationships, we can't choose them, family members or colleagues, but we can choose when we need to work with someone for some services, we can choose who we're going to work with. And this is why I have started this series, which I call the Uplifting Life Resources, where I invite people like you, Suzanne Decky there, to present professionals who I believe are really exceptional, not just in the service they give, but of course you're very, very good at what you do, but also give an exceptional quality of the relationship, the presence that they have to their clients. So Suzanne, I met you 6 years ago when
Wow.
I trained to myself, training in image consulting. So you are an image consultant and you're going to tell us a little bit about it in a minute. At some stage I really had interest in helping others with this, and so I trained and you were my teacher, and I was completely blown away, not, as I say, not by the level of your knowledge, you were the teacher, so I expected that you knew a lot, but just your person. I really, really liked you, and the human quality that you conveyed, I could see how you were with your clients. That blew me away. So I decided that I wanted to present you to the people who follow me, because I think that everyone could get the help of an image consultant, and when we know how to dress, what suits us, how we can express our personality through the way we dress, we feel good and we feel confident, and this is really important to create a good life for ourselves. So Suzanne, the first question I wanted to ask you is to tell us a little bit about how you became an image consultant and what is an image consultant.
Okay, well, thank you for that introduction. Way too kind. So how did I become an image consultant? I spent 20 years in the corporate world and left. For some reason I was in finance and doing all sorts of things, and as you know me, finance would be the thing that you would think I would be least in, so it's no wonder that it didn't resonate well with me and I ended up quite ill. So I left the corporate world and I wanted to do something that I was very passionate about, and I wanted to work for myself. That was all I knew. So I started off on this journey and looked to buying businesses and things, but nothing that was really resonated with me, until one of my friends, who happens to be gay, said to me, "It's so obvious what you should be doing." And I said, "Really? Shoot me," because it's not obvious to me. And he said, "You should be an image consultant." So that was before Trini and Susanna, before it was as popular and as well known as it is now. And so that started me on my journey. So I went and trained as an image consultant, learned about colour, learned about style, did personal shopping, all those sort of things, and I've built my business up from there. But one of the interesting things that you just said was, what is an image consultant? And I used to get asked that all the time, and now people are more probably used to hearing people talk about stylists, fashion stylists, that sort of thing. I like to think of an image consultant as being an image coach. So I like to think that what I do is I help someone to find the words and dress in a way that best represents themselves and how their authentic self and how they want to be seen and what they feel is really them in different environments and situations.
Yes.
So that's what I like to think that an image consultant is. So not necessarily fashion, it's not going around dressing somebody in all the latest trends, or what I do isn't doing the latest trends and all that sort of thing. It's finding things that really resonate with you and speak to you, and being able to wear them and be the best version of yourself.
Well, you see, in what you're talking about, if I may, I'm going to take one word and the other that you have put in two different sentences, but you talked about image and you talk about best self. And that makes me think about self-image. So many of us have a negative self-image. Sometimes we have actually what we call in psychology an overrated self-image, like we think we are more than what we are, which is when we are idealistic, we want to be an ideal. And we actually struggle to be, we start being someone that we are not really. But behind an overrated self-image is always a negative self-image, because we're trying to actually hide the image that we have that we're not good enough. And then there's other people who are very clear with themselves, yes, I have a negative self-image. And I certainly find that learning what works for you with, the way you build and the colors that work for you, etc., really sort of help adjust the self-image with the reality on the physical aspect. And this is very important. This is very important. I think if we can embrace who we are physically, it's a big step towards well-being and happiness.
It's almost empowering, because you start to accept yourself for who you are, and you're dressing you and not worrying so much about what's going on out there and what other people are thinking or doing or anything else. It's all about what makes you feel good.
Absolutely. And I was reflecting a little bit before you arrived, and I was just like, well, in a way, when we dress up in a way that works for our body, we're honoring our body. We're saying, well, my body is good enough that I'm actually going to make it look really beautiful. One of the other things I wanted to ask you is, what are the main issues your client come with, and how do you help them? So maybe you can tell us a little bit about, what you do with your clients, and what are the things that they need?
Okay. Main issues that my clients come with would probably be they don't think that they have enough clothes, or they don't think that the clothes that they've got are really representative of them. So often what I'll do is a wardrobe audit and put together outfits, more outfits that they don't even realise they've got. So they might say, I don't have enough clothes to wear to work, that I've got this new job, but they've probably got the clothes. It's just that they're not making the most out of what they've got.
Yeah.
So I love to do wardrobe audits. I do colour consultations, so just draping people and going through what colours work best on them and explaining why they work, because I'm also a big fan of breaking rules.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. But I also believe that in order to break the rules successfully, you've got to know what those rules are.
That's right.
Or else we're sort of floundering a bit in the dark. So learning what those rules are then gives you the knowledge that you need to successfully break them. So we do a colour consultation, so we've got your best colours, what works best, why, and that sort of thing. Style, so how to dress your body shape, and what your style words are, so the sort of words that if you're in a shop and you pick up a garment, are these the words that come to mind? Or so there's all sorts of things. So if you're somebody, so I've got quite a dramatic personality.
Yes,
and style. And style. So I might pick up something, and if it's overly, well, I probably wouldn't pick it up, but if it's overly pretty or feminine, then it probably doesn't appeal to me so much. So it's sort of, it makes it much easier to go shopping, because you eliminate a lot of things that you would know wouldn't appeal to you.
And this is also true for men, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, I do it. I have a lot of male clients as well. I'd have to say predominantly a lot of my clients come through wanting to get clothes to wear to work. So more corporate environments, going for new jobs, going for promotions, having to do presentations, that sort of thing. So what we'll often do is sit down and I get them to write, we go through an exercise where they'll write out their descriptive words on how they want people to perceive them. So if they're doing if we're doing a presentation, what are the words that when you've walked away, you want people using to describe you in that presentation. And then it's very empowering to have you dressed in a similar way.
Yeah. So what aspect of your personality you want to focus on so that the message come across through the way you dress?
That's right,
Yeah.
that's right. So we've got that congruency in what you're saying and the way you look.
Yes.
So we're sending that same message out rather than, having that conflict there.
Yeah. Oh, that's really interesting. Yeah.
So I do that as well, colour, and then obviously the shopping part of it as well.
Yeah, so you take people shopping.
Yes. And people say, oh, that would be so much fun. But as you know from when you did do this, it's not always as much fun.
Well, the problem is that once you know at the beginning, you're like, well, that doesn't work, that doesn't work. So, it's true that I think it's quite helpful at the beginning. Yes. And one of the things is that in mind immediately we think, oh, that's going to cost a lot of money if I have to go shopping and buy a whole new wardrobe. But you were just telling me before, that's not at all what needs to happen, right?
No, and that's often one of the things that will hold someone back, is that they think they have to go and spend a lot of money on clothes, and they don't. I've had some really good results from going to recycle shops, from going to second-hand shops. I've had clients, and that's what they're interested in. That's a big part of them, is that whole slow fashion sort of fashion revolution thing. So that's where we'll go and shop, because that's a big part of them. So we'll go and shop there, and we've got some fantastic pieces. So it's definitely not about who has the most clothes, who spends the most money, because we probably all know people that spend a lot of money on clothes, and they're not necessarily looking well put together.
That's right.
All the time.
Yeah.
So that's possibly not coming from a great place to them. So it's more about maybe finding one or two things, key pieces, that will tie what you've got in your wardrobe together. So then you end up with, a wardrobe, a very versatile wardrobe that works for you.
And you just said, about going to an op shop, that's what works for this particular client. And this is exactly why I invited you, because I know that you have this ability to really sit and listen to people. And this is something that is very important, obviously, in my, profession as a counselor, to listen to people and not just put our ideas on them, but actually listen to the person and let this person express what they feel, what they want, what they dream about. And this is something that I really liked, because as you say, you have a dramatic style and personality, and sometimes people who are like that, they want you to be the same, but you're not like that at all.
No.
I mean, you did come to my place and we looked at my wardrobe, and I don't have your dramatic style. And I felt absolutely fine. You were not telling me, oh, no, this is too classic or whatever. No, there was, and that is something that I really liked. And I think it's that people can go to you and be relaxed, that you're not going to try to make them do what you want, but you're actually going to really help them do what works for them. And so that brings me to my next question is, if someone who is listening now is like, oh, maybe I would be interested, but they're still hesitating. I see I had another question, I had forgotten it, I'll ask after. What would you, so someone who's considering but hesitating, what would you tell them to, what message would you like to give them?
That it's not, they don't have to make a lot of changes. Normally it's just one or two small things. And if we just start off slowly and change one or two things, it can change a lot of things in the way that other people perceive you, what messages are that you're sending out, therefore the messages that people are receiving. So people think it's going to be very expensive. They think it's going to be a lot of change, it's dramatic, and it's not. And even when I get people that want to have a makeover, I'll do a makeover over time.
Yes, through stages.
Yes, through stages. Because it's really important that my client goes on the journey with me. So if we're going to change the hair, we'll go and change the hairstyle, and then that's it. And then I make sure they know how they're going to do that hairstyle, how often they have to go and get it cut, how often they have to have it coloured, all that sort of thing. And it's got to fit in with their lifestyle. Then, you know, in a couple of weeks we might go and do a wardrobe audit, and we might just go through and make some new outfits from existing clothes, and then they start wearing that. You know, so it's
that
taking
they
them
feel slowly
on.
more and more comfortable in this new style that maybe they wanted to do a long time ago but didn't dare to do.
That's right,
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah.
And the research that they've done on dramatic makeovers that you see in the magazines and on TV is that people often revert straight back to what they were before, because it's too much change and it's too quick, and people, they haven't gone on that journey.
Yeah.
You know?
And also, I mean, I'm big on being authentic and who we are. And I think sometimes in those dramatic makeover, people want to be someone, but that's an image. That's not necessarily who they actually are. They're sort of halfway through between who they are, the way they dress today and the way they would like to dress. So if they suddenly go to this other image, it's not them either. So yeah. Another question I was wondering is, what about people who think, oh, I need to lose weight, so I'm going to wait and go and see someone when I'm ready, when I'm happy with my weight.
That's another one that I do get a little bit of, and I'll say, okay, let's start the journey now. Let's start now, because don't you deserve to feel fabulous now, as you are? And we can start the journey now. We can still put together outfits that are existing in your wardrobe that you might not have seen. We can still bring in colour in accessories, scarves, things like that. That has got nothing to do with weight. So we can start to incorporate changes like that, and then the client, whether it be male or female, all of a sudden is feeling so much better about themselves.
That's right. They build up the confidence, so then they probably get even more confident to lose the kilos they want to.
Yes, exactly, because people start to say, oh my goodness, you look amazing, what have you done? You look fantastic, you know.
Yes.
And we all know how we feel, how we walk a little bit taller and things when we look good.
Yes.
Versus when we put something on that we feel not so good in.
Yeah.
You know, so it's that whole positive reinforcement. So I think it's very powerful. So there's no better day than today to start making changes to affect the rest of your life.
Yeah. So I see that time is getting up, and I just could talk with you forever. But I'm just going to finish with one question. What is the most important value in your work?
Oh, most important value in my work. I think the thing that I get the most joy from is empowering other people, is to see them go, oh my goodness, I can do this. I can do this. This is actually really easy. Well, now that you've given me these guidelines and I've got my words, this is not as hard as I thought it was going to be. And then I get phone calls and I get messages and things to say, oh my goodness, it's changed my life. You know, I've got that role, I've got that promotion, you know, good things start to happen.
Yeah, that must be
And
nice,
I think that's
really.
what makes my heart sing.
Yes, I understand. Well, that's a very nice note to finish on. Thank you very much, Suzanne.
Thank you, Maud. Thank you.
Thank you. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.